So, 2 weekends ago, I was given a chance to go on a trip to Dallas, where I got to hang out with other content creators, and we got a chance to go through some of the Cowboys facilities. The best part was when us football YouTubers were on the same team in a game of flag football.
Good shit, we just dominated, bro. KTO MVP at quarterback.
Plus, the following day, we got to see the Lions play the Cowboys from this incredible suite. This is all thanks to SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an app that puts tickets from all across the web into one area, which makes buying simple. The deals are scored on a scale from 1 to 100, so you know you're getting a good deal. Use code KTO for $20 off your first purchase. Big shout out to SeatGeek for the sponsor and giving me this chance to go on this amazing trip. Isn't it weird that football, a game that has been played for decades by the most fierce and maniacal men, always seems to come down to the right or left foot of one of these guys, who physically has no business of being there, but when the time comes, you need him more than any other player. So, as most of you know, I'm a Browns fan, and although they finally won some games, it's bittersweet.
Now Gonzalez with this 43-yard attempt to win it for the Browns.
Gonzalez, the extra point. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's not good. Gonzalez, he's missed to the left, he's missed to the right, and the Saints are going to win this.
I've never felt so unsettled watching a special teams unit or an NFL kicker, which doesn't make any sense to me. How can there not be 32 competent kickers in all the land? I know Vikings fans felt the same way about Daniel Carlson. Here's what really intrigues me. Zane Gonzalez and Daniel Carlson both were cut following week 2. You know what else they had in common? The Lou Groza Award is given to the best kicker in college football. The top 2 finishers in 2016. Daniel Carlson is the runner-up, and Zane Gonzalez was the winner. Yeah, these 2 dudes were considered the best kickers in college football. Come to think of it, a lot of dudes who were highly regarded at the college level seem to almost never work. I guess you just can't judge college kickers off of how well they can make field goals. Well, what if you've never heard about them?
6-0 New England with just under 6 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. And here's Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker was a total freak. He was a collegiate sprinter, and his 40 may have been in the 4.3, even 4.2 range. And although he was nearing the end of his career, on Pro Football Reference, he is listed as a kick returner in 1996. That's because Dallas knew that once this dude had momentum running downhill, not many people were going to slow him down, or even catch him.
Here's Herschel Walker. Oh, he found the opening, but Terry is back. Walker inside the 40. It is a foot race, but Terry diving to hold him down. Oh, the kicker ran him down.
Actually, Vinatieri doesn't even have the angle on him, Randy. Closing speed. I've never used the term closing speed with a kicker.
He went to South Dakota State, and after going undrafted, he kicked over in Europe for a year. Then he came over back to the States, signed with New England, you know the rest. It's pretty crazy to think that this dude has been in the league since 1996. He's been in the NFL longer than some of his teammates have been alive. The 80s were a unique time for kickers. This is Morten Andersen and Brian Hansen, the Saints kicker and punter, and they dropped this hit in 1985. Morten Andersen played 25 years in the NFL and is the league's all-time point scorer. Oh yeah, then there was the barefoot kickers. This had become a random spectacle in the NFL that lasted from 1979 to 1990. It was a fad, and fans embraced it. This was the time to be a kicker in the NFL. And how about the fact that during the 1982 NFL season, the MVP of the NFL was a kicker, Mark Mosley. He was one of the last straight-leg kickers. This style would eventually disappear due to soccer-style kicking being a much better method. But Mark Mosley did win an MVP with it. You know what else he had? The one-bar helmet. I just felt like this gave kickers more personality. It made it even more obvious that kickers and punters didn't really belong. One thing I feel like we all enjoy is when a kicker or punter is put in a situation where he needs to make a play. Watch this next scene and imagine being a Bears fan.
Green Bay Packers will attempt a field goal, which, if good, will end the game.
And Tampa Bay beats Cincinnati 17-12. That's the final.
If the field goal is missed, it goes over to the Chicago Bears, and we continue. A 35-yard attempt by Chester Marco with David Beverly holding. It's blocked. Taken by Marco. Chester Marco. Chester Marco. Chester Marco takes it in. Can you believe it?
This dude just outran the coverage unit and scored a touchdown from the 25-yard line. But here's the crazy thing. Chester Marco admitted to snorting cocaine during halftime of that game. And on that play, he was definitely feeling it. He would go on to be cut only a month later, which he felt was due to his cocaine use. But check this out. A few weeks later, the Houston Oilers were headed up to Green Bay to play the Packers. The Oilers kicker would end up getting hurt late into the week, so they desperately needed to sign another kicker. They would end up signing Green Bay's former kicker, and he would go on to make a field goal in a winning effort in front of the fans who saw him run in that touchdown. I've talked about bad kickers, the unique kickers in the 80s, kickers on cocaine. But in all honesty, I haven't given enough credit to their importance on a good football team. Most Super Bowl caliber teams really have good kickers. After all, you're only as good as your weakest link. Take for example, the 98 Vikings. They went 15-1, and their place kicker, Gary Anderson, a total stud. He was having a record-setting year, and in the NFC Championship game, everything was lining up for the Vikings to go to the Super Bowl. Up by 7, the Vikings had the ball, and with just over 2 minutes left, Gary Anderson was ready to punch their ticket to the Super Bowl.
Anderson hasn't missed in 2 years.
So that's a pretty good bet if you say, do you think Gary Anderson will make this field goal? The answer should probably be yes.
39 yards away, and it's not good. Out of the pocket. Touchdown. End zone, touchdown. Touchdown.
And they just wanted to get it in the middle for Morton Anderson to kick it.
He's handled the pressure before. From 39 yards out. Anderson is good. He knows it. They know
So recently, the Browns beat the Ravens with this field goal.
Joseph's kick on the way, and it is gone!
Crazy. Not the fact that he actually made it, but how it went in. Are you kidding me? I remember another kick that was even more insane.
And it's blocked.
No, not that one. This one.
It will be a long field goal try for Phil Dawson. Deja vu.
This is it, second week in a row for the tie. End over end, end over end. It is up, and it is. Oh, it hit the crossbar, it hit the upright, and it's no good.
Oh, it hit it and bounced back into the field of play. This one ricocheted off the left crossbar, went through, and watch it hits the bottom post and knocks it back toward into the field of play.
There's a question whether the ball went past the crossbar and came back. After discussion on the field goal hit the top of